Our next custom setting sequence is bracketing and flash. And the first one is the flash sync speed. Well, the top flash sync speed on this camera is 102/50th of a second for standard shooting. That means that anytime you shoot faster, you have the situation where the shutter is going to open and already start closing before the flash fires, giving you a partial picture. Well, they've got this other feature in here called Auto FP, which what happens is you've got two other options, 102/50th of a second and 103/20th of a second. And rather than the flash firing one burst, it does a kind of a pulsating flash so that it can actually fire and capture images at faster shutter speeds. You can also go down as far as a 60th of a second as far as your flash sync. Now the next one, flash shutter speed. That's telling the camera when you're using balanced fill flash and you're shooting in low light, just how low can it go with the shutter speed to expose for ambient light. I've got mine set to a 15th of a second. I feel like I can pretty much handhold that pretty well, and if I've got slightly moving subjects, I'm not going to get a lot of what they call ghosting. So for exposing with flash, the slowest my camera will go is 1/15th of a second in low light. Now I can go in at any other time and drop that even further as needed, but that's my default. Now, flash control for built-in flash. As we talked about, the D700 has a built-in flash. The standard setting is just TTL. So you pop up the flash, the camera does your balanced fill flash with whatever type of lighting. Well, the next one is manual. So you have the ability to actually dial in a ratio or a power setting of how bright or how dark this flash will be when it fires. The next one is repeating flash. Now that can be really fun. It's basically a stroboscopic type of flash. So say I'm shooting at a slow exposure and I'm shooting a dancer. Well, as they're dancing around at the slow exposure, rather than getting like the slow sync we talked about earlier where I get one shot and then some blur, the camera, while it's open, the flash is constantly strobing, so I'm going to get multiple shots of that same dancer, very sharp. That is adjustable. So you have the ability to say just how bright you want or how much output you want that flash to use, keeping in mind it's not going to reach a great distance when it's in stroboscopic. You also have the ability to tell it how many times it's going to fire and at what frequency. So again, depending on the length of the exposure and how fast your subject's moving, you could actually get like 5 or 6 shots of the same person within the frame. It's a really fun setting. The final setting in the flash control for the built-in flash is called commander mode. You have the ability of using the built-in flash in this camera as a commander or a remote sent firing tool to fire additional Nikon Creative Light System flashes, which would be the SB800 or the SB900.
Or the 600 even.
The 600, that's right. So I can actually go into commander mode and I can tell it whether I want the built-in flash to be a flash or just simply a commander. And then I can set the other groups of flashes into 2 different groups, and I have the ability to set them for channels. That way if there's somebody else shooting the same situation, we can set for different channels or groups and we're not tripping each other's flashes. Plus, from the camera, I can actually control the output of each of those groups of flashes. So this is a really powerful tool when you're using multiple flash wirelessly in full auto TTL using Nikon's Creative Lighting System. You don't have to buy the external remote firing system.
For more information on using the Nikon CLS, please check out Joe McNally's lighting classes.
Exactly. Plus he's got a new DVD out from Nikon that's absolutely outstanding on using the Nikon flash system.